So welcome back. Today we are going to talk about the second session on telephone etiquette. We are going to continue yesterday's class and we are going to discuss a little further on telephone etiquette. Right. So today we are talking about placing calls on hold. So how to put a call on hold? For example, if someone called you and you are talking to them, in that case, if you have an urgent work, and it need your immediate response, in that case we need to place the call on hold. So how to put a call on hold? First, ask permission before placing a call on hold or placing a caller on hold. So for example, if someone calls you, we should take the permission before we are going to put the call on hold, right? And return to the line periodically. For example, you asked the person to be hold on for 5 minutes. In that case, after 2 minutes or after 1 minute, you should make sure that the person is on hold, right? You should return to the line periodically and you should request once again to be hold for rest of the time. And ask caller if they want to continue hold. Ask callers if they want to continue holding. For example, if you got a call, if they ask you to hold for some time, once they return to you to make sure that whether you are waiting or not, in that case you can offer a chance for them to call back. And you can ask them, do you need to wait some more time or can you call back to them? So you can ask that information and indicate how long the delay could be. So for example, if you are putting someone in hold, then we should try to convey that how long it would delay. How long it would be, we're supposed to explain to them. And offer to call the person back if the wait will be long, right? For example, if you need to wait or if you need to hold a person for a long time, in that case, try to offer a chance for callback, right? So if you are waiting, if you are putting him for longer time on hold, in that case, you can offer him that. So because of some urgency work, I couldn't be able to continue our discussion, right? So can I call you back at so and so time, like that? You can offer the time, right? And be courteous, respectful, and professional. So if you observe, this is the point we have been observing in every slide. Almost be courteous, respectful, and professional. So generally, most of the people generally what they think is it's just a call. It's just we are talking on the phone. We are talking through the line. So we don't need to show much respect like that. Most of the people they think. But here we should understand that we should be careful while you are talking on the phone because they don't observe your facial expressions. They don't observe your body language, but they'll speak only to your language. The words, whatever the words you are speaking. That is why a great critic said about the words. Words are mightier than the sword. Words are mightier than the sword, right? So we should understand how powerful the words we are using. What kind of words we are using. The choice of words is very important aspect in telephone conversation, particularly telephone conversation, right? Now, answering multiple incoming calls. Answering multiple incoming calls. For example, if you need to use or if you need to answer multiple calls, for example, if you're working as a receptionist, in that case, you sometimes you need to answer multiple calls, right? So in that case, what kind of things, what kind of words we need to use, what kind of phrases we need to use, that should be keep in mind. So in that case, while you're answering multiple calls, how the way you need to respond, how the way you need to interact with two different calls, two different persons. So place the first person on hold. Place the first person or first call on hold. Answer the next call. Generally, most of the people, what they do is, for example, while they are talking on the one phone, if they get any another call, they'll use another. This is not the right way you should speak, right? If you are on the phone, if someone called or if another phone rings, then what you need to do is you need to put the first person hold. So to put the first person hold, you already know the process how to put him on hold. All right. So excuse me, I'm getting another call. Could you please wait for 1 minute? Right? Would you mind if I put you on hold for 1 minute? So these are the ways generally we can speak to the person. All right. So once you put the first person on hold, then answer the next call. Without putting the first person on hold, we should never answer the next call because it may a disturbance for the first person. Right. So you answer the next caller. I mean the second caller. Complete the second call only if it can handled quickly. If you are able to complete the conversation quickly, then only you can jump onto the conversation to the second person, or otherwise you tell them to wait, or you tell them that you will call back them. Right? Or return to the initial call promptly. Return to the initial call promptly. Promptly means the way we should interact. First thing, once you engage the first call again, once you return to the first call, we should thank the person because they wait for us. They are in the hold for us. We should thank them properly. We should thank them, then only we should convey our gratitudes or disregard. Why, sometimes only it will happen, so we should convey that sorry for inconvenience and sorry for keeping you wait for 1 minute, like that. And you should thank them and you should convey the reason, and then you can carry on the conversation. Next, provide quality service that meets or exceeds the customer's expectations. So whenever we are talking to the others, whenever we are talking on the phone, we should make sure that customer satisfaction, whatever the job we are leading or whatever the job we are doing, it's never matter, but we should maintain proper customer satisfaction. If we don't maintain customer satisfaction, no doubt we are losing n number of business clients, customers. Generally the customer must be one, he might be only one person, but we don't know how many minds he is going to change. Right? So we should never look at the person, how many people are there, but we should think that if he dissatisfied with our services, if he feel discomfort with our services, of course, in the beginning, he is the only guy, but we can't predict for how many people he is going to tell the truth, for how many people he is going to tell the situation, for how many minds he is going to change, right? If I speak frankly as a customer, if I get disappointment or if I get wrong opinion on any client, if I get any wrong opinion on any shop or any business, as far as my attitude, I never visit the same shop in my life. I never visit that. That is one problem with me. And the second problem is, if anyone asks me about the similar kind of products, I would suggest that not to go to that shop. Right? So I know about myself. That's why I'm giving this example. But the similar kind of people, definitely there will be thousands of people on earth. right? So if we get similar kind of person to our shop or similar kind of clients to our business, so we can predict the damage, how much damage we are going to face, what much damage they are going to create to us. So that is why whoever the successful businessmen, they used to say only one statement, one slogan, that the client, the customers are like God. We should give utmost priority to them because they are the payers for us. Of course, they are just buying our goods or they are just buying our products. But the truth is, if they don't buy the products, we don't have the business. That is the way we should think about the customers. And whenever we are going to talk about customer service, we always used to say one concept: how many customers are there? It's don't calculate the number of customers or their income, whatever the income you are getting. Never focus on that. You just need to focus on the customers. If they satisfy, no need to worry about your business, no need to worry about your advertisement. They'll advertise about you. So that is why I use one statement about my organization: satisfied souls are nothing but they are going to be the brand ambassadors of my business. So that is the statement I use in my business statement, business quotes. Right. Now, transferring calls. For example, if you need to transfer calls, for example, a person called to the next person, simply take a situation in office. Please take a situation of any office. For example, a client called to the manager, but at that moment, manager was in a meeting. So generally what happens, the receptionist or the PA of the manager might respond to the call. If they respond to the call, generally what we do, we need to talk to the person who answered our call. We need to inquire who is that person, and we need to go, first of all, we need to give our identity, and then we need to take the next person's identity. After that, why we called, to whom we called, we need to convey to the next person. Okay. So for example, if a customer called to the manager, definitely there will be a person in between the customer and the manager. That's nothing but it might be the field assistant, or that it might be the sales executive, that it might be the receptionist, whoever might be in between the two persons, customer and the manager. In that case, this person, the mediator, has to answer the call first. So we should call to the reception. Then once the reception is okay for our information, if he feel that he wants to transfer the call, then he will put us in hold, and then he will connect the call to the manager, and he'll talk to the manager whether he is available to speak to the next person or not. If the manager is available, then he'll connect the call to the manager directly. Then the customer directly can talk to the manager. So this is the actual process, right? So while transferring the call, while the receptionist transferring the call to the manager, what are the measurements we need to follow? Transfer calls only if you are unable to help the caller. Okay, so this is a very important aspect. Most of the companies wherever we are doing our business, whomever we call, if they are not able to handle the client, if they are not able to help the customer, then only we're supposed to transfer the call. For example, take a bank. Vasudha ma'am already working in the bank. So for example, if we call to someone else in the bank, right, Vasudha ma'am responded to the calls. Okay. For example, if Vasudha ma'am is dealing with account opening or insurance policies. Okay. So for example, Vasudha ma'am is dealing with insurance policies only. She's not responsible for other jobs. I mean, other transactions related, bank related transactions. If she has been handling only in insurance, in that case, if suppose I'm the customer, I call to the bank. In that case, Vasudha ma'am answered the call. If I asked Vasudha ma'am about bank loans and all, okay, can she be able to answer me? Mostly no, because she has been handling only insurance. In that case, if I ask about insurance, no doubt she'll give me n number of details. But I'm asking about other department. In that case, what she can do is the best thing, she can convert the class. I mean, she can transfer the call to the next person. That is the only thing we can do. But we should make sure that if you are able to help the person, we should try to solve the issue. If we are not able to help, then only we should transfer the call to the next person. Next, ask permission to transfer calls. Right? So for example, you got the call, you don't have sufficient information and you feel that you are not the right person to solve that problem, then ask the caller to wait for some time to connect him to the right person. Okay. Next, give names and complete telephone numbers to the caller in case the call is disconnected. While you are transferring the call, we should make sure that while we are transferring the call, we should make sure that we should take notes on their name and the reason and their telephone number, right? Who called, what is the reason, to whom he called. So these are the details we should take. Then only we will be able to transfer the call. Otherwise, we can't be able to do that, right? And next, give the new party and helpful information before completing the transfer. So before you are going to get connect with the manager and the customer, we should give the manager why the customer wants to talk with manager, why the customer expecting to discuss with manager only. So what are the situations, what happened, why the mediator, why the person who is there in the reception, why he is not able to convince the client, why he is not able to convince the customer. So the whole situation should be explained to the manager to create an aware what is going on. Then only he'll be able to talk to him directly, right? For example, if the client, if the customer is very angry, he is not listening to the sales executive. In that case, he need to transfer the call to the manager or higher authority simply, right? So if the sales executive doesn't explain the situation to the manager, what happens? Generally, the manager speaks to them casually. In that case, what happens? Already this customer is very angry. If he speaks so normal, so general, then automatically he, his anger will increase. He's going, unknowingly he is adding fuel to the fire. So in that case, what we need to do is, we need to give clear evidence, clear data. Then only he'll be able to understand the concept. Right. Am I audible to you all?
Yes, sir.
All right. So before we are going to transfer the call, we should give clear details. So this is the situation. This is the situation is going on. If you give that clear idea, automatically the next person will be able to handle that situation. They'll try to calm down the client. They'll try to make sure that the customer is satisfied, right? Never transfer a caller more than 2 times. If you're talking to the manager or if you are transferring the call to, if you're, for example, if you're transferring your someone's call to the manager or your higher authority, generally we will transfer our calls to the higher authority only, right? Make sure that you are not transferring calls more than 2 times for the same person. What happens if you transfer more than 2 times? If your manager is somewhat angry person, how many times do you transfer this call? Every time you're transferring the same call, like that he may feel bad about you. Sometimes there might be a chance of terminating us from the job. If it is government, no problem. If it is contract based or if it is private one, then we should face a lot of their circumstances. So it is a good idea not to transfer the same person more than twice. right? So you know how to dial the call, you know how to introduce yourself, you know how to take the information, you know how to transfer the call, you know how to ask the person to put in the hold, you know every information how to handle the calls. Now, even while you are disconnecting the call, we should be cautious. Give a short, sincere explanation for ending the telephone conversation. For example, if you need to disconnect the call on the spot, you should explain them why. You should explain them a short description why you are disconnecting the call. Right? For example, I'm sorry to cut this short, but I have a visitor waiting to see you. Right? This is the way how you should give a reason for disconnecting the call and make plans to get back with the caller if necessary. For example, you put the caller on hold, it is delaying. In that case, what you can do, you can disconnect the call. While you are disconnecting the call, you should explain the reason why you are disconnecting the call, and you should make sure that if it is necessary to call back to him, we should do it. We should convey that when you are going to call back to him. Right? Now.
Sir, sir.
Yes, please.
In previous slide, you have written there, but I have a visitors to meet.
Yeah.
So
I have a visitor waiting.
Instead of using but, yes. So here the word but we can use here because I am sorry to cut this short because I have a visitor waiting to see me. Because we can use here because.
Yes, we should use because. So it's a typo.
Okay, it's typo.
Yes, it's
I think.
No, it's a typo. I'm sorry to cut this short because I have a visitor to wait. So because is nothing but it's a reason. So it's just nothing but a typo. Right. Good. Right. Now, you call the wrong number. Sometimes it will happen. If you call the wrong number, what should you do? If you call the wrong person, how to respond? If you get wrong call, then how to respond? If you dial a wrong number, how to respond? If you place a call and reach what appears to be a wrong number, immediately check the telephone number. So for the first thing, what we need to do is, we should make sure that whether we dial the right number or wrong number, we should make sure that. Right, so best thing is, before placing a call, try to check the number twice. Try to check the number twice. If you again place a wrong call, the number is absolutely correct, but if it connected to the next person, wrong person, whomever you are expecting, if it went to the wrong person, in that case, so we should convey that. I beg your pardon, but this is so-and-so number. Is this? We need to inquire with the customer, I mean the next person, the receiver. Right? So is it the number I dialed? If you dial a new number, then only you face these kind of problems. If you dial a new number, but sometimes even with saved numbers also you may face these kind of problems, because now this telecommunications rules and regulations have been changed. Right? If we don't use a number, or if any number in inactive mode for more than 3 months, I think, after 3 months, automatically they'll issue the same number to the next person. Correct? So in that case, if you don't use any number for more than 3 months, then you should make sure that whether the person is using the same number or whether they change the number. Right? So we should take the clarity. If it is evident that some error was made, express regret. So if you find that there is a mistake or if there is a wrong dial, in that case, we should express our regret. And even if you are not responsible, of course, sometimes this might happen, sometimes this may happen, but we are not responsible person for wrong dials. For sometimes, if like typos, In that case also, we should convey our regret. We should express our regret. Simply sorry. Sorry for this inconvenience. Sorry for this misconversation. Sorry for this uh, discomfort like that. Okay. Next. Someone calls you by mistake. If someone calls you by mistake, if you do wrong dial, then you should express your sincere apologies to the next person. If you get wrong call, inform the caller politely that he or she reached a wrong number. Try to explain them that the person whom they are dialed, that person was not here, and you are not the right person to speak to them. You just need to convey them that you are the wrong person whom they are searching for. Right? Suggest that the caller recheck the number and dial again. Try to suggest them to call back to the right person, not to you, because already you know that you are the wrong person for him. So you just convey that, but it should be in polite manner. We should never be aggressive, because error is a human. Error is human. Forgive is divine. We should help them to call back to the next person, call back to the right person, not the next person, call back to the right person. Right? And if the caller is trying to reach a country, employee or department, or do your best to find out the number and assist the caller in transferring the call. For example, if someone called to the same company, same office, for example, take Vasudha ma'am. She's working in one department in the bank, but there will be more than one department. There will be more departments. In that case, if the promote the wrong dial to the Vasudha ma'am to ask about Kavita ma'am, just assume that Kavita ma'am and Vasudha ma'am working in the same office. Actually, my intention is to talk with Kavita ma'am. I called for Kavita ma'am, but unknowingly I dialed Vasudha ma'am's number. I dialed Vasudha ma'am's department number. In that case, what Vasudha ma'am should do is she need to transfer the call. Once she came to know that she got a wrong call, or once she came to know that unknowingly I called Vasudha ma'am by assuming that I'm calling to Kavita ma'am. In that case, she can transfer the call. Okay, but most of the offices we can't expect this kind of environment. For example, if I call to Vasudha ma'am asking Kavita ma'am, if they have good relation, they can transfer the call. If they don't have good relation, then what will happen? We can't even predict what is going to happen. So this is
Kavita ma'am.
Yes.
Wow, it's drizzling here. Now it's raining.
Wow. Very nice.
Right. So screening calls. Avoid giving the impression that calls are being screened. Right? So we should avoid giving the impression that calls are being screened. So most of the telecallers, they used to say, the call has been recording for screening purpose. These calls are recording for future references. Like that, they used to say all these things. But what we need to do is we should avoid that impression that we are screening the calls. Right? So it should be like a natural call, but we should never create a little bit embarrassment to the clients. And mostly if someone is calling to a business office, automatically most of the calls, they are under supervision. Correct? So we don't need to again explain to them that the calls are under supervision. Right. Do not ask the caller's name before saying the requested party is unavailable. Okay, for example, I called to Vasudha ma'am, and by asking simply Kavita ma'am. For example, I called Vasudha ma'am. I tried to call Kavita ma'am back, the call be into Vasudha ma'am. In that case, Vasudha ma'am should not ask my name before whom I call. Okay. So for example, I requested, may I speak to Kavita ma'am? Okay. If I ask, may I speak to Kavita ma'am? In that case, what Vasudha ma'am should do is, she should say that she is not the Kavita ma'am, she is Vasudha ma'am. Which means first we should give our identity, then only we should seek the other person's identity. Okay, that is the way how we should interact with others. Ask if the call can be returned. Okay, if the person has got the wrong call, in that case, you can tell them for a return the call. Okay, use judgment in determining whether the supervisor needs to talk to every important person. For example, if any supervision is need to be there, if there is any supervision need to be done, then try to express all these situations. So this is the norms we have been following. These are the terms and conditions we have been following in our company. So try to make sure, try to ensure that we are following all the norms, and transfer a call if it is an emergency. For example, as I said in the previous slide, try to solve the problem as you can. If you can, try to solve the problem. That is what the expression I said. But if it is an emergency, try to transfer the call. But make sure that you have intimated to the person whom you are connecting with. Okay? This is about screening calls. And
Sir,
yes, ma'am.
if someone called for Kavita ji and that call come to me by mistake, then I should have transfer that call to Kavita ji. But before transferring, can I ask his name?
Exactly. So, for example, if you got a wrong call by asking Kavita, right?
Yes.
So in that case, what you need to do is, you need to convey that you are not Kavita. Kavita is in some other department. Okay. So still, if he wants to put him through in the sense, if he wants to transfer the call, then you can transfer the call. Or if he wants the actual department number, then you can give the actual department number. If you don't know the number, then for example, if that person doesn't know the number of Kavita, even you don't know the number of Kavita department. So in that case, what you can do is, you just, sometimes we don't need to give our department numbers to the new person. In that case, we can directly put him through. We can conference him. We can connect the conference call. And before connecting the conference call, what we need to do is, we should make sure that whether Kavita is known the person is not. We should make sure that, and we have to give that information that someone called asking Kavita. Like that, we should follow.
If I am the PA of my DGM,
yes.
For example, if I am the PA of my DGM and someone calls me and tell me to transfer the phone to DGM, if should I ask him his name?
Yeah, definitely. See, if they don't reveal their identity, what we need to do is, first we need to reveal our identity, and then we need to take their identity. Without knowing the person, how can we connect the call? We should not connect the call. And even if you're transferring the call, while you are transferring the call, definitely they'll ask who called. So even for that purpose also, we should give the name, correct?
But if in some case, if DGM is not in office and customer don't want to tell his name, at that time what to do?
If they don't want to tell the name, in that case, we can be able to help him. We are doing all these things in the grace.
Okay.
Right. For example, I called to speak with DM, but he is not there. In that case, what I supposed to do? I should inquire when he will be able to come. right? When should I call back to him? So everything that I should take the information from you only, right?
Yes.
Now you are the resource person. If I don't want to reveal my identity, then why should you reveal your details? Why should you give all the details? You don't need.
Yeah.
So it should be the responsibility of the caller and the receiver. So
Yes.
the cooperation should be in between the persons. If they don't cooperate on the proper manner, we will try to give him the proper information. Still, if they don't deserve that, we don't need to follow all these rules and regulations. Simply, we can say he's out of office. Thank you. Call back to him. Switch off. Got a call.
Sir, today many calls are coming from share department and LIC department and many departments. In routine unknown calls, we are fed up of that unknown calls. How to handle that calls every day?
So, for example, if you are getting n number of unknown calls, right? So, in the beginning moment, you can say the bank name. So, welcome to so and so bank. Then automatically they'll come to know that whom they called. Okay.
Okay.
So automatically, if they come to know that they call the wrong number, automatically they'll disconnect.
No, they are not calling on the wrong number. They are finding our numbers from I don't know from where, but they call from Gujarat. Every day I came one call, and are you interested in dealing in share market? Then
Yeah.
every day I
So,
fed up of that call, sir.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So these are the general calls we get from the telecommunication services. So whatever the services we are taking, either it is Airtel, Jio, Vodafone, or Reliance Jio, whatever it is. So these service providers, what they do is they'll automatically when we buy a SIM card, they'll give the access for all these telecallers. In that case, what we can do is, if you don't want all these calls, all these business calls, then we can enable one service from that telecaller. That is nothing but do not disturb.
DND service.
Yes. So if you DND service, if you accept, if you enable DND service, automatically all these calls go by the company itself. They don't transfer all these calls. Right. So handling complaints and angry callers. This is very important thing. Handling complaints and angry callers. Never make an angry caller wait for more than 30 minutes for a supervisor. Already they are on the fire. So if you put them wait more than half an hour, then automatically they feel little bit embarrassed, even because of the situation also. And whatever he has been there in his mind, actually he wished to talk with manager, but if the manager is not there, or if the supervisor is not there, in that case, if you put him for more than 30 minutes, the result will reflect on us, right? So what we can do is, if the manager is available, then maximum try to arrange a meeting with the manager or supervisor. If the manager is out of the office, then tell him when he can return, when he can talk to them. So after some time, so and so time, you can come back. He is not in the office. So by so and so time, he may return. So after this time, if he come to the office, then he'll be able to available. Then you can talk to him directly. So this is the best thing we can do with the angry callers. All right. Listen to the complaint. First, this is a very important aspect. Whoever complaining, whoever giving any complaints. So first, listen to the complaint and investigate and act to resolve the issue. So we should listen to the complaint and we should try to investigate and we should resolve the issue. Right? Avoid interrupting until the entire complaint has been stated. This is very important thing. We should never ever interrupt. We should never intervene the person who is complaining. If we complain, that is why most of the people, they used to complain. Even the telecallers also, they used to complain that we are getting wrong calls, and some people are scolding us like that. They used to complain, right? Before we are going to complain, we should understand that why the customer is shouting on us, why the customer is scolding us. No person there, no one directly, they don't scold, right? Unless and until they are cultureless people, right? So try to listen to them, try to understand the problem. If we can do anything for him, try to give the assurance that you'll be able to do it, and try to give a deadline. When exactly will you be able to do that? If you're not able to do that in that given deadline, try to make sure that you communicated the same with that person. For example, you have given me a complaint about a product like AC or refrigerator or whatever the product, right? So as a person, as a customer service person, what I should say is, so by so and so time we will be able to come and we will check the machinery. We will try to provide our service. So whatever the deadline I have given, if I am not able to reach that position, if I'm not able to provide my services on that time, whatever the time I promised, in that case, what I need to do is I should communicate with that. Because of so and so reason, and because of heavy work, or because of so and so that, I couldn't be able to reach on this time. So would you be able to give me one more day or one more hour, like that? So we need to give the, or I mean, we need to urge the person to extend that time, right? Do not allow yourself to get angry. So whenever you are in the position in receiving the complaints, we should never ever allow ourselves to be in anger mode. We should never get angry. Of course, if someone unnecessarily scolding us, if someone unnecessarily cribbing at us, then automatically we'll get angry. But what you need to do is, though your mind is angry mode, but your face should not express that. So that is what
Very
we should,
difficult, sir.
yes, we should never show any strong emotions on the face. That is what the thing we need to practice.
which I'm doing many times.
Right. So even when I'm handling with the students, so if I get angry, what I do is, the best thing what I do is, I simply laugh at them. So unnecessarily, if I'm laughing, in the sense, mostly there is something is burning, right? So the best way what we can do is, if you laugh at others, automatically, if you smile at others, automatically they'll control their anger. Then automatically,
Sir, I always enjoy their anger.
very good, very
Then
good.
literally, sir, few customers are unnecessarily show their anger and shouted loudly. At that time, we could not do anything. Then I only laugh at them, and when I laugh, they again they again get more angry.
Which type of love? Which type of love? Sarcastic love?
No, I only laugh. Because we could not do anything.
Yes. Yes.
Then I only laugh.
Yeah.
Laugh and not loudly. I only smile.
Yeah, smiling is very bad. No, smiling is the actual thing we need to do. It's not laughing, it should be smiling.
Exactly. I only smiling because we could not do anything, sir. Na?
But here what I'm saying is, if I get angry, then only I'll laugh. I don't smile, I'll laugh. Then automatically they'll answer, why he is laughing? There is no joke. Why he is laughing? So they'll think about us. So they'll automatically come to our attention mode. So then automatically we can do our business. All right. So if the caller is angry, pause before you respond. All right. If the caller is so angry, then it's the best idea. Just listen. No need to talk to them. Just listen
Yes.
to them until they
Yes.
vomit out their emotions.
Sir,
Then
this is not
respond.
for only in society. This is this apply on our relatives
Professional
too.
life.
Many a times our
Yes,
family members are shouting very
exactly.
loudly when they are in anger. At that
Exactly.
time, only solution is keep mum.
Just only one sutra, silence.
Yes, yes, yes.
Right. If the caller is extremely angry, ask if he can call back. So if the caller is extremely angry, he is like walking dog. In that case, the best thing what we
Sir,
can do is if the client
Guruji
is,
has given many sutras to us. Guruji has given many sutras to us
yes,
how to handle this type of
yes,
people.
yes. So what we can do is you just ask them to call back. Right. If the caller refuses, ask if you can have few minutes to collect needed information. So for example, if the caller is extremely angry, you ask him or her to call back. Still, if they say no for call back, then tell them, actually, I need to collect the data. I need to get the information to help you out. Please hold on. That's it. This additional time may allow the caller to calm down. So time automatically, if the time passes automatically, they'll set right little. Then you can talk to them. Right? Right.
May I tell one incident in my office?
Yes, ma'am, please carry
If you give me 1-2 minutes, before 2 hours, one old customer, senior citizen had come to office and tell some DRC receipt. Then I told him I will print it in the evening, and you come on second day. Very next day you can collect it. Then he gets so angry and shouted at me, you are sitting in AC room, AC cabin, and that was the summer season. And I came in the office with so hot at outside, and you are telling me come on next day and collect it. Then I could not say anything. And I think why what I tell him, then I keep mum. And after that he shouted so loudly, and 5 minutes he started loud shouting at me. Then I keep mum only. Then I don't know what happened. After 15 minutes he came to me, and then, oh ma'am, I am very sorry, I should not shouted so loudly on you. Such type of incidents many a times happened in our office, sir.
very good, nice. So this is the only solution. If they are unnecessarily shouting, if you remain silent for some time, then automatically they can understand what they are doing bad. Right? Right. So same, handling angry callers, complaints. Never put an angry caller on hold. Okay. You can ask them to call back, but you should not put them on hold. If you put them on hold, if the time increases, then automatically the anger also increases. So it's a better idea. It's the best idea to call back in a moment, or call back in a minute, or 5 minutes later, or 10 minutes later, or you just tell them that, sir, please let me collect the data, whatever the data I can be able to help. Please let me find out the solution for your problem. Then I'll get back to you. You don't need to call me. I'll get back to you. Okay, this is
Yes.
the best thing we can tell them. This may make them more angry. Right. Next, empathize, express regret for the situation. So we should empathize. We should show some empathy, and we should regret. We should express our regret for their inconvenience. For example, I'm sorry for the inconvenience. Right. Next, find a way to agree with their circumstances. Find a way to agree with their circumstances. We need to find the solutions, how best you can be able to cope up with them, how you the best way to get them to your control. For For example, I understand what you are going through. I'd be upset too if that happened to me.
Yes,
Right?
very.
So then
Yes, yes.
automatically what happens, they'll come to your track. Then whatever
Yes.
you say, if you say sit, then sit. If you say stand, they'll stand. So automatically
Yes.
they'll come to your track. So this is the
Yes,
best
very
thing you
true.
can do. Yeah. Suggest alternatives for handling the problem that you have the authority, and take responsibility for providing answers to the customers. So
Customers.
yeah. So whenever you are getting these kind of complaints, try to give more alternatives, more options for them. So if this is the problem, then this is the way you need to solve the problem. If it is doesn't work out, then this is alternative for you. Then you can try this one. Even this doesn't work out for you, there's again one more solution for you. Like that, if you provide more solutions, then they may feel very happy to talk to you. They may feel very happy to come to your company again, because you are giving more options, more solutions for single problem. Then automatically that person will feel very happy. Of course, whether does it be able to solve the problem or not, it is not there in their mind. The way you are providing the solutions for him, then he feel very happy, because you are giving more options. Then automatically he may forget his complaint and he'll try leisurely to solve the problem of his own. Right? So this is the best way we can do it. Right. Managing your voice message system. Managing your voice message system. Answer your telephone when you are at your desk. So try to answer when you are at your desk. For example, of course, if it is a mobile phone or if it is a walkie-talkie, right? You are not at your desk, you are somewhere else, but the mobile phone with you, you got a call. If you respond to the call, what will happen? For example, sometimes you need to check out the data on your desktop, on your system. Sometimes you need to check out some files which are there on your table, right? You are somewhere else, but the information has been there on your table. If you answer the call at that moment, you need to face some problem. So it's the best idea to answer all these calls, these kind of calls, when you are at the desk. Let the system pick up when you can't answer. So when you are not able to answer, then try to enable automatic answer mode with system. So there will be automatic mode with systems, then automatically they'll respond to the client, they'll gather the information. If you must leave your desk, it's not you. If you must leave your desk, it's a typo. If you must leave your desk, check for messages promptly upon returning. So for example, if you went off your desk or you left your desk for some time, you need to check out the messages properly and you should respond to all the messages. When returning a call and the system answers, leave a clear, detailed message including your phone number. So for example, if you are out of the desk, in that case, you should give a clear voice message, including your phone number. When your availability changes, change your greetings. So for example, if you are available in the evening or if you are available in the next morning, try to change the greetings, right? So as per the time, you need to greet the customer, right? Something to remember. A person may forget what you say, a person may forget what you do, but a person will never forget how you made them feel. This is what very important. They may forget what you are talking to them, they may forget what are the words you use, but the expression they will never forget. I forgot what they said that day, but you know, that company is worse service. They don't remember the words, they don't remember the dialogues, but they'll remember the expression, right? So be careful with the clients. Success. when every customer leaves satisfied, you'll get the success. When every person of your customers or every individual of your clients, they should feel satisfied. That is what I said. Satisfied souls are nothing but brand ambassadors of your company. If one person satisfied, he'll become your brand ambassador. Without any investment, they'll give a lot of advertisement about your organization.
Mouth to mouth publicity, sir.
Exactly, mouth publicity is very powerful.
Yes.